Good day, YouTube. It is the 3rd of July, 2021. This is the speaker tower. If you're a subscriber on my channel, you may have watched the build of this a few years ago, actually. I have a mobile DJ business, and I do a lot of outside events, car shows, cruise-ins, corporate picnics, and the like. And was a big deal to me to try to get the speakers very, very high in the air over people's heads, so the sound will travel up over vehicles and, you know, literally for 1 or 2 city blocks. I finally accomplished that building this speaker tower out of an old Genie one-man lift. So I did some trading, wheel and deal, and I got this lift and custom built a trailer, and I can tow it behind my DJ vans and load up to 4 speakers on this platform that I built, strap them down, plug them in, and send them 20 feet in the air. It has worked so good. It was a game changer for my DJ business. I can now do things that maybe few people in the business can do because I've taken the time and the effort to build something like this. The downside to this is my 65 Ford Econoline Supervan has a 240 cubic inch inline 6-cylinder and marginal at best drum brakes. And the trailer came out pretty heavy. Even though I built it as light as I could, I did it just a 1x2 1/8 inch. It's plenty strong, but all in all, the thing's pretty heavy. If you look right here, that's a solid chunk of 2-inch thick, maybe 2 1/4 inch thick steel that just adds weight to the base of this thing, because basically you could use this without outriggers when it was a man lift. And I've always had the idea to have a second speaker tower, because I can broadcast my signal and pick it up in 2 different locations, and to have 2 speaker towers really changes things for me. I can do much bigger events. So let's look at what I started building. So this is a light tower, and I found it on Craigslist or Marketplace or something, and it basically is a crank up light tower. It would have attached to a trailer and would have had lights on it. It would have tilted up, and then it would have cranked up. This is what I could come up with, because finding another lift like that was proven to be impossible or financially impossible. Those things sell new for like 15 grand. And in the used world, they're still $2,000-3,000 for them. And I don't charge much for the events that I do, and therefore I do a lot of the same exact events year after year. And it just wouldn't pencil out for me to spend that kind of money on it. So I didn't, but I got this tower for cheap, and I set out to build it on this trailer. And I picked this trailer up, which probably actually was a light tower trailer. And I picked a trailer up for $200. So I started off to build the tilt mechanism, everything. This came with the tower, and I've built the rest. I did this on my channel. You might have even saw the videos. Sometime in COVID 2020, and I didn't get it finished. I guess I was hoping to find something better, different than to do this, because it's kind of a pain to crank this up. I didn't know what the apparatus was going to be to raise the speaker platform up. It was going to be cumbersome. It's going to be time consuming to set up, and I just wasn't that happy with how this was proceeding. I thought this would kind of come together, and in some ways it did, but in some ways it didn't. So what's the purpose of this video? Let me show you what I got yesterday. So look at that. That is I'll call it a walk behind forklift or material mover, high reach pallet jack, whatever you want to say. This would be so much nicer to have, so much nicer to use, and still at a fraction of the weight of the man lift I just showed you. So I picked this up yesterday. It was advertised for 200 bucks. This was the second one I've tried to buy. It's the first one, obviously, I was successful in purchasing. And it was assumed that it worked at 200 bucks, but when we got there, I put a jumper pack in it, and couldn't make anything do anything. So he threw in that little motor in the bottom there just for fun. So I ended up getting this for $150. So the task now, I think I'll take it to the car wash and we'll get it clean, because I don't like working on dirty stuff. If you've been around my channel any length of time, you know that's the truth. So we'll get this thing cleaned up and we'll get it back here and we'll see if we can make it work. And then the idea is that we'll put this on that trailer. We'll cut off what I've already installed. We'll clean the welds up and all that jazz. Put this on the trailer and support it to the trailer. You know, just basically weld braces off of it. I don't want to destroy this thing, because, you know, one day down the road may not need the speaker tower anymore. But this might be a nice piece to have for something else, provided we get it working today. So let me take some time and run this thing to the car wash. I've got some Simple Green and a garden sprayer right now. We'll spray it down, we'll take it to the car wash, we'll get it clean, and we'll come back and see why this thing doesn't work. Okay, I put a jumper pack right straight to the pump motor. Nothing occurred. So it looks like we have a transformer here for a battery charge circuit. We have a 12 volt DC motor coupled to a hydraulic pump, to a hydraulic reservoir, to a hydraulic ram on the other side that raises a pair of chains. So very simple, very effective. I don't think this thing's seen a heck of a lot of use. It's not damaged in any way, it's not bent in any way, it's not Mickey Mouse in any way, so I really like what I'm seeing here. So let's do that, and I'll bring you back and we'll dig in to start diagnosing this thing. Well guys, the old Simple Green works pretty good. I sprayed her down, let her sit 15-20 minutes while I was headed to the car wash, and the old 40 years of dirt came right off of it. So here's what little I know about this thing. The guy that had it, his grandson now owns his house and everything that was there. This thing was tucked off in the corner of the barn, as dirty as you've seen it, and that's all he knew. He put her for sale, and I responded to the ad. That's really all there was to it. We don't know anything more. It's called a Big Joe. What I did like about it, it wasn't Mickey Mouse, wasn't any damage, you know, nothing broken and re-welded, anything like that. But we got to get her working. The tag on the electric motor is pretty bright, which, you know, maybe that thing was rebuilt at some point. So I hooked the jumper pack to it, and again, like last time, nothing. But I also brought out a hammer, and I think we ought to hit that thing a couple times, because it might just be sitting there, just needs a little inspiration to turn again. That'd be nice. Probably not going to be the answer to our issues, but it's certainly a first step. So it's pretty bright out here today. I don't know how the lighting's going to do, but it is what it is. So let's try it. Turning on the jumper pack, I'm connected directly to the motor lead and grounded at the motor. So we're going to strike at it. Not doing well. Okay, we tried. Jumper pack off. Let's dig in a little further. Let me do this though. Let's go right up here to the stud. Yeah. Cable actually looks in pretty good shape. Let's hook up to the ground lead, then we have bolted connections. Try again. Still. Yeah. Whatever. Let's I know we're bypassing the key here anyway, but just try to see what else doesn't work. If we put the positive wire on the cable, see if we get the solenoid to draw in. I don't hear anything clicking. Nothing clicking. It is hot there. Shouldn't be, but it is. That's hot. That's not hot. I don't know why that's hot. But the solenoid's not any good either. Because if this is hot, and it still is, it should be hot across the solenoid, and it is not. Alright, I've got some work to do. Well, it wasn't real easy, but I got the motor and pump unbolted from the chassis here. Got a couple of hard to get nuts off of this bracket. And the motor separated from the pump, I think. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Oh boy. It's a little heavy. It's got like a little drive shaft in there. Pump turns, feels good. Let's take this motor in on the bench, see what we can figure out. Okay, it's up on the bench. Took a screwdriver because there's a slot right here where the little drive shaft went. Trying to turn it and the motor's locked up. So let me play with this for a little bit, because if we can get it to spin, it's probably stuck bearing or whatever. Maybe we can free it up before we have to take it apart. It's gonna have to come apart, but let's try it. Well, folks, she's a little crispy. Whoops, sorry. I'll bring you in for a closer view there. So, a couple wires go into the brushes. All the brushes are pretty well stuck. I just sprayed it all down with PB Blaster, hope to free stuff up. I'll let it soak there for a little while. But I think I'll pull this model number, go looking on the internet a little bit. I know it's a snowball's chance to find another one, but I will go look. The other option too is to send this for a proper rebuild. Someone knows what they're doing, if it's rebuildable. So, may or may not be repairable. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Alright, but I'm about to do a little digging. I'll get back to you when I know something more. Well, I gotta say, I think that motor is had it. It might be savable by someone that really knows what they're doing, but that thing is so rusted on that end, I can't move it. I did break one screw out of this end, just getting the brush cover off. The brushes are pretty wore out, and some of them don't move. I'll kind of save it in case it's savable one day, but realistically, I have this complete 12-volt motor pump reservoir assembly. I bought it at an auction. There's my auction number, 243. That was my auction number for years and years and years before the auction company retired. And I've never tried it, never hooked it up. Let's see if it works. If it works, let's just replace the dang thing with this. I already own it. And make life easier. It's already got a control handle on it. I'll just have to open up the door to operate it. Sorry I'm in your way, but what am I going to do? Alright, that should ground it, shouldn't it? They used to have a control switch on this handle but doesn't exist anymore. So I went right to the motor side. So I'm just going to bump it, because if there's fluid in it, and there likely is, it's going everywhere. So let me move you a little bit out of the way so I don't make a mess. Alright. There's a bump. Bumps. Sounds good. If I move that lever, it should spray fluid, right? And it does. Okay. We have a good one. We might need to flush out the hydraulics, but nothing wrong with that. So let's do that. I've measured this. It won't. If I take the other hydraulic reservoir out of there, it won't fit in. Oh, there's like a shelf in there. It's just about 1 inch too long, but it will fit in the bottom. I just got to make a spot for a battery, and we can do that. So let me clean it up, because it's very dirty, and we'll see about fitting it in there. Well, guys, the pump cleaned up pretty good. I might have to sneeze here in a second. And believe it or not, I took the old pump out. You can see the hole going through the sheet metal there, and the hose going to the ram. I didn't even have to put a fitting on it. That fitting was on the pump, and that was the hose, and it fit perfect, and it's practically lined up with the hole. I will have to make that hole a little bit bigger, and the pump will just fit in there just fine. We'll just bolt her down and be done. This thing's fitting really good. I do need to scare a little space up for a battery, but I'd like to put like a group 24 in it, but realistically it isn't going to take much. It's only got to go up you know, no more than twice per event. So let's put some fluid in it. I did cut the return hose off the bottom of that old reservoir, and the fluid that was in it was hydraulic fluid, and it looked real good. So I drained the fluid that was in this pump because it looked like it had ATF. So I dumped all that out. So let's put some hydraulic fluid in it, and let's test. Hang on, put you in the stand. Alright. I got like 4 gallons of hydraulic fluid left from my John Deere 140 projects when I was flushing out the hydraulic systems. So more than what we're going to need here. Probably only needs a quart or so. Let's stop there. Need to run it, get the air out of it. That was right at the top. The one risk we have is not having enough reservoir to fill the cylinder. If that's the case, we might have to put an extension on that to gain some capacity. Cross that bridge when we get there. Might flush this out a time or two. Come on. Work with me here. This doggone thing. Well, good enough for the moment. Fix it later. Let me grab the jumper pack and see if she works. Alright, got jumper pack hooked up. Let's see if she moves. If she goes up, I don't see any leaks, but it didn't go down. See how that works. Yeah. You get a bungee cord and bungee that lever over and jump up and down on it or something. Maybe one of you could have mentioned the fact that it was going down, but the it's just needs a little lubrication. Chains are all floppy loose there, so evidently it does work. Let me run that ram back up there before something bad happens. Carefully. Okay, now it's time to lube this thing a little bit. Let me get some spray and some oil and some stuff there, and let's get after this thing, because it's gonna work. Right on. Woohoo! Well, gang, I found a battery, stole one out of the Cushman, threw it on a charger a little bit. There was a little life in it. Hooked up some temporary cables so we could run this thing. I have greased all the grease fittings. There's 2 rollers on each side on the carriage, and then 2 grease fittings up here on those pulleys on top of the ram. So I think we're getting this thing going up and down and by itself here. So let me back you up. Let me put you on a stand and let's test run it. Kind of curious how high it goes. Let's do it. Sure goes down. me cycle this a few times till she's happy. All right, we're gonna do this one last time. I've had it up and down a few times, threw a little bit of weight on it. It'll get better, and obviously we need to clean up those guide channels a little bit. But it is working. Just a couple little bugs to work out and we'll be good. So, guess I'm pretty happy to get this and to get it working. I'm glad I had the parts. I didn't have to invest any dollars in it. We're gonna kind of end this video here. I'm just kind of wrap this up and set this to the side when I have more time, when I get around to installing this on that trailer I showed you. We'll get this thing mounted, figure out where to put a battery. And if I don't have room for the battery in here, I'll put the battery off to the side in a battery box. That'll be fine. So, what do you think, guys? Pretty cool, right? So, appreciate you watching videos, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that. Hit a thumbs up on the way out the door. We're going to catch you guys on the next video. I do apologize, too, for I just getting back to work after being off for a year. I got a 2-hour commute now. 10 hours on the job typically, and that's just the way that's going to be for the next year and a half. We'll try to get some content out every week or so, but certainly not going to be what it has been for the last year or so. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll get back to it soon enough. For now, little projects, that's the name of the game. Catch you guys next time.